Hey, what's up Marvel fans, welcome back to another Marvel's Avengers video, and today we finally have some really important news to go over. Of course, you probably were waiting patiently for that Hawkeye update that was kinda delayed. Well, today is your lucky day, or should I say tomorrow is your lucky day, because then is when we will get a brand new deep dive war table event into the Kate Bishop DLC. Of course, I'm showcasing most probably the new content, the new characters, skills, abilities, and all of this information is thanks to the awesome people over on Reddit. It seems that a number of users have received this email right here, so if you have also received this, go ahead and check it out. Maybe if you find something new over there, send me a screenshot over on Twitter and we can discuss about it. But let's talk about all of this as well as a small recap of everything that has been happening in the game. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up on it would be super appreciated. Now, of course, as I've said, if you check your emails right now, you're going to notice that you're likely going to have this right here, especially if you have subscribed to their newsletter. So apparently on November 19th, which is basically tomorrow, at around 4 p.m. GMT, we are going to get a brand new word table deep dive into Kate Bishop, or should I say late Bishop, because it seems that everybody's kind of like playing with this one. So yeah, let me know down below if you're also excited for this, or if you kind of gave up on the game already. According of course to the data that we have, in 25 hours and 30 minutes from this point, we are going to get that stream right there. We also have this small piece of lore right here at the bottom that kind of explains what Kate Bishop was doing in, well, when the events of the Avengers were happening. So Kate Bishop was on the fast track to becoming an Avenger when they changed her course. Blindsided by the Avengers dismantlement and AIM's crusade against Inhumans, she's stuck with her mentor Clint Barton to investigate the disappearance of course, ex-SHIELD director Nick Fury, that you probably already know. So likely this is probably what's going to happen. We're gonna get a bunch of missions with her kind of showcasing things that were happening from her perspective when A-Day was underway, and of course then we're gonna pick probably off with a bunch of other missions, kind of regrouping with the Avengers as we saw in the trailer, and then starting the new DLC, the new part of the Hawkeye update, and going on to our business. But I will say this, the character looks interesting. It's probably not like the biggest character they could have banked on. Like, they would have probably made a better deal right now if they just released King T'Challa. So if we had like a Black Panther update, it would have probably made more waves, let's just say. But you know what, I'm gonna take it. Any new content in the game, I am just glad to see it, because for almost a month at this point, I have not touched Marvel's Avengers at all. I almost gave up on it, I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing to do in it. It's the same old activities over and over again, week after week, and there's basically no point in doing content if you can't bring your, let's just say, abilities and new character and your new suits of armor and your new items into anything new, because everything you're doing is already old content. But the other thing that I kinda wanted to say was to probably curb your expectations from 2 points of view. First of all, it could very well be that the word table might prove disappointing. It wasn't always the case. We had some really amazing word table events, especially around launch time and even a few times after that, but we also had a few disappointing ones, especially in the past month. So it could go either way. Since it's called a deep dive, I'm expecting quite a bit of information, but I wouldn't expect too much information when these deep dives only last about half an hour at the maximum. On the same note, I would probably also say the same about the DLC itself, or the part of the update. I wouldn't expect too many new things in the new update, with the exception of Kate Bishop herself, which is probably going to be like the main theme of it all. It's gonna probably be like the centerpiece of the first part, and then Clint later down the line when he is going to get released. Hopefully this isn't going to suffer another delay, and hopefully we're gonna get to see it this year. Keep in mind that this year we were supposed to see both of these characters, and maybe even have some room for King T'Challa, for Black Panther, sometimes in December, but it seems that those plans are now kinda down the drain. Now, a major role into all of this were also the pandemic and the California wildfires, according to Phil T. He's one of the developers that is pretty active over on Reddit, and he was able to confirm that there were a lot of delays simply because of these two situations, especially when it comes to that California wildfire that was a while ago, causing a ton of power outages and them not having enough internet and not being able to properly communicate with one another. other, and that was on top of the fact that there were a ton of people working remotely, so naturally things were slower anyway. But all things considered, given the fact that they are still on track with at least a part of these updates, at least that is a good sign right there. Now, as far as everything that's been happening in the game for the past few weeks, well, not much has happened, and for good reason. We did have a bunch of patch notes. I think that the previous were 1.35 and 1.34, both of which actually improved the game by quite a bit. I think that if you play the game right now, it's probably going to be the most stable it's ever been. I was able to play with it. I'm seeing that the UI at the very least is way snappier and faster than before, even that I'm playing on the PlayStation 4, and yeah, it kind of seems that it's a bit more bug free from my experience, though matchmaking is still an issue and I'm still seeing people reporting some progression bugs from time to time. But all things considered, we should be getting quite a few interesting changes and additions to the game sometimes in the near future. As we've talked about in one of the previous videos, we do know that Crystal Dynamics is working right now on a way to replay the main campaign and redo the missions as it is, and it seems that according to one of the interviews with one of the game leads, that is in the testing right now, or it was when this was taken like a couple of weeks back. He was also able to confirm that as the game gets fleshed out and some of the bugs get resolved, some of the remaining bugs actually get resolved, we are going to transition into a phase where we might get to see seasonal events happening in the game, which kind of raises a really good point. We did not have a single seasonal event right now in Marvel's Avengers. We didn't have a Halloween event, though that is kind of a given because it was really close to the launch, but we might also not get a winter event, even though we did have a somewhat of a, let's just say, Hulk winter skin in the game for quite a while at this point, so I'm not really sure if that was related to that, but it would be awesome to see seasonal events with additional loot and unique skins being applied to this game at some point in the near future. Now, if you're somebody like me who has pre-ordered the PlayStation 5, or if you want to play the game on the new generation of consoles, you might be also asking yourselves, are you going to be able to play with your friends that might still be stuck on the PlayStation 4? Is there cross-gen compatibility? And well, fortunately enough, the answer to both of these questions is yes. So in the near future, there's going to be cross-gen play where people who own PS4s and PS5s can play together. But there's a ton of other stuff that has been discussed in the past couple of weeks. I'm going to leave you guys at it, and the only other thing that I'm going to mention is the fact that they are taking a lot of time to properly implement the new characters like Kate Bishop and later Hawkeye. Determining the way they fight, the best kills and all that kind of stuff is quite time consuming when you have to take into account all of the skills and possible interactions they can have with just the current version of the game. But yeah, this is kind of it with the news update. Of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated with all of the information that we get in tomorrow's live stream, and I will probably make a more condensed version video of that so that you can easily go over all of the details. But in the meantime, as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a bit.